Yo, this Bone Crusher. You listen to Art is King podcast.
I am DTM of DeltaTangoMike.com, and this is the Art is King podcast, episode number 97, featuring the artist interview with Kelsi Jackson.
I would take Sharpies and draw on all my classmates, and with the Sharpies, I would draw our Decatur. I went to Decatur High, guys. If anyone's from there, I would draw the bulldog on them, and I would draw my designs and art.
Please take the time to download the Art is King podcast in your favorite platform and listen anytime. We would like to hear your opinions and suggestions, so please direct your comments to dtm@artistking.org. The Art is King podcast is available on Android, iTunes, Spreaker.com, Stitcher Radio, and you can find all the links on artistking.org. Kelsi Jackson is the illustrator and creator of A Slice of Life, a webcomic that reflects bits and pieces of her everyday life as a black woman in today's world. Kelsi is a Columbus State University graduate with works in several mediums including ceramics, watercolors, inks, and digital illustration. Find more of her work at kelsijackson.com and on Instagram under BG Illustrations. The Art is King podcast is made possible by the support of our sponsors. You can find them on the partners page at artistking.org, and they include letterboxlegal.com, velocityscreenprint.net, Otis aka Mr. Thought Crime, Sam Flagg's Art and Design Store in Atlanta, and azaleacreativegroup.com. Now let's start with our interview.
It's Kelsi Jackson, also go by BG Illustration, which represents Black Girl Illustrations. And I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
Awesome. Born and raised. On the ATL.
Yep.
So tell us about the first times that you remember art in your life. What was that about?
I think the first thing I remember is when, now I really think about, is when I was still like maybe 5 years old. Mm-hmm. And my mom bought me a, what's that? I forgot what the kid brand name is, but that easel board kids get that's red and you can post stuff up. And and she gave me that, and she gave me some paint, and I just went at it. I just like handprints, everything, little house drawings, and I think that's the earliest memory I have. Which, yeah, that's the earliest I can think of right now.
Do you still have that little easel?
I had it up to until I was like 8 though, or 10 or something. After that, I don't know what happened to it.
No.
It disappeared.
Do you have older brothers and sisters?
I have one older brother. He's up in Washington State right now with his family, and he's not so much into like drawing and stuff, but every time he calls me, he has a new tattoo design he wants me to do for him, and I'm like, you're gonna have to pay me first before you get anything from me, but right. I'll just listen to you.
Mm-hmm. So does he have any artistic talent growing up that you?
Not that I think of. He loves music, which is, I mean, we all love music, but once he got out of the Navy, he went to the Navy for a few years. But once he got out, he knew how to weld, and he knew how to put fences together and all that stuff. So I think there's a little bit artistic thing going on with the welding, because you can be artistic with welding and stuff like that. So yeah. All
right. So he has a little talent, a little creative talent.
A little talent.
Very cool. So once you got your easel, and did anybody show you some art stuff or give you little tips, or you just kind of just went off on your own?
I don't really remember people showing me, other than going to, like, I guess the High Museum and stuff like that, and but other than that, I kind of like did my own thing. I watched cartoons, I drew what I saw on TV. I watched anime, I drew what I saw when I watched anime and just practiced that. I just did it all on my own. And I just, after people saw that I had an interest in it later on, they started to really, like, encourage me to keep doing what I'm doing, and then take me out to these museums and art shows and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So the anime, what kind of anime did you like? Were you looking at on TV?
I was watching Inuyasha, Cowboy Bebop, The Big O, Gundam. I don't know why I love Gundam when I was young. I wouldn't buy the Gundam kits where you put them together and have money, but like I just love watching that show. Gundam was my show.
Awesome. See, so people started noticing that you had a little talent, and that's in school, like in preschool, middle school. What grade were you in?
Preschool, pretty much, and then up to first grade and second grade, because I started to draw. My drawings became more realistic. Like when my mom pulls my old drawings out and she shows me my old drawings of when I was in first grade and stuff like that, I was like, I drew that? That's amazing. Like I drew a realistic goose from our neighborhood, and it looked exactly like the goose. I mean, I'm still young. I don't really know perspective and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And then like a giraffe, and I was like, oh man, what was happening back then? Like, did I become a science experiment or something? They're like, you're gonna know how to draw an actual animal, you know, not no representation. So, but that's kind of the earliest people started to notice me, and once people saw that, they're like, oh, Kelsi, you know, you should do this for me and stuff like that. And I would do it for people. I would put little decorations together for our school events and stuff like that. And and then I would do little paintings, you know, really unique paintings, and give it to my friends and family. So that's
that became your thing.
That became my thing. And then after a while, I just I noticed that after a while, I didn't really like what I was doing anymore, though. Even at a young age, I was like, all right, this is getting a little bit boring. So now I moved on to like drawing people and scenes, and really being heavily influenced by anime and stuff like that. And so that's what I really started to get into. Also like tattoo designs, because I remember in high school, I would take Sharpies and draw on all my classmates, and with the Sharpies, I would draw our Decatur. I went to Decatur High, guys. If anyone's from there, I would draw the bulldog on them, and I would draw my designs and my own original designs and stuff like that. So I became interested in doing that, and so. But you know, after a while, again, I got bored with it, and I moved on to once I got to college, I wanted to go into more 3D stuff, because like before, I've done decorations for people and stuff like that, and so that interest popped right back up, and so now I did like sculpture, ceramics, all that stuff, and right now I'm not able to do that because I don't have the equipment. But if I had the equipment, I would get right back into it, because I think that's that's my next true calling, doing 3D stuff.
So when did that start? Like, you're in high school, you're drawing. Were you interested in ceramics then?
Kind of, because I was introduced to ceramics when I was in 9th grade. Okay. And so we started to do we did small little things like how to coil, how to pinch pots, how to just do slabs. We did the basics of the basics. And then after that, my art teacher, whose name is Miss Keith, I need to go visit her at some point. But we started doing more elaborate stuff like face jugs, if you know what that is. You know, where somewhere in the country they put moonshine into the little jugs, and to scare people off, they would put ugly faces on it, you know. So we made stuff like that, and cookie jars and stuff like that. And I was just like, man, this is really fun. And so I ended up moving even further into sculpture, to where we would make plaster and then shave it down, make sculptures out of that. And once I realized that I can just take something, a different form, and turn it to something else, I was just like, this is like amazing to me. So that's around 9th grade though is when I really
when you started with that.
Yeah.
And so as you're going through high school and you're thinking about college, did you know that you wanted to study something that had to do with the arts? Did you purposely look for that?
Yeah, I wanted to go into the arts. I didn't want to go to, like, I knew I could have done, something in science. I could have been a doctor. I could have been a lawyer or something. I could have, but I didn't want to. I wanted to do art. That's all I wanted to do. So I went to school, and I tried to apply to, like, schools closer to my home because that's where more of the arts were in, closer to my home in Atlanta. But when you take those ACTs and SATs, your scores are not that high. You're like, well, you know what? Time to go move on to the next thing, which was Columbus State, and but was a great opportunity because Columbus State had one of the greatest studio spaces that I've ever seen. Towards the end of my college year, I had 3 studios that I can switch between.
Wow.
It was amazing. And but I knew right off the bat that I wanted to art. I didn't want to do anything else. I just wanted to do, if I didn't do ceramics or anything, I knew I could do painting and illustrations and stuff like that. And my parents supported me in that decision, as well as the rest of my family and friends. They're like, you know what, go do your thing. Just make sure you can make money. Right.
Yep. Make sure you can live off of it.
Make sure you can do it.
So you chose college based on what was available, and you left for college.
Yeah, I left for college, and first year was a little bumpy. It's bumpy for every college student. You gotta make friends, you gotta know your teachers and stuff like that. But once you get into it, it's like, I'm not gonna say it was a breeze because everything was hard. Even if in art classes, it was still rough because one of my mentors in college, I went on to do ceramics for the next 4 years. One of my mentors was my ceramics teacher, and you think it would be a little bit, he'll be relaxed, and chill. No, this man was he was a hard ass. He got on me 24/7. He actually had my phone number and would call me at some ungodly time and be like, "Are you working, Kelsi? Are you in the studio? If you're in the studio, turn off the kiln." And I'm like, I'm at home asleep. Stop calling me. That was even though it was my third choice school to go to, I was just impressed by the facilities and stuff like that. And so once I started getting into the rhythm of college, and after that, it was hard, but at the same time, it was relaxing. It was fun. I met all these people. I met all these artists that they brought in. I got to meet printmakers and go to printmaking conventions, art exhibits, and stuff like that. And it was awesome. If I could do it again, I would.
Yeah, awesome. So you had a good time. You learned a lot of stuff in college, and it's well worth the time and effort. What are your mediums that you work in today?
Right now, today I'm doing a lot more illustrations and 2D work. So I work with once I got out of school, I worked a lot with ink, actual brush and ink, and pens and pencils and paper, and I just did a lot of traditional drawings. But then I became more interested in digital art, so I moved on to my computer, and I already had a tablet, and now I started doing a lot more digital art. So I would use Photoshop and stuff like that, and I would even combine the two, take some of the traditional and upload it to Photoshop and kind of do a combination drawing, or finish up a drawing that I did into traditional and finish it as a digital piece. You
Mm-hmm.
know? So, but those are the materials I'm using now. I am trying to slowly move back to ceramics and 3D stuff, but at the moment I gotta take one step at a time.
Do you have some ideas for what ceramic stuff you would do, or do you want to just jump in and experiment?
I would probably go jump back in and experiment, because that was my biggest thing. I experimented so much during school, but right now it's just 2D, which doesn't stop me from doing 3D stuff with my 2D. I can right now there's like this project I want to work on. I still have to finish out the plans, but I bought some paper and I'm going to be combining paper to make like a 3D piece. So I mean, right now it's just the pens and paper, but I'm not really tied down. I'll use any material, really.
Okay. And so I know that you have partnered up, collaborated on some children's books. How'd that come about?
So one of my parents' friends came to me saying, "Oh, well, you do illustrations and drawings. I love your drawings. Can you do some illustrations for a book I'm working on?" And I was like, you know what? Sure. Let me see where this can go. And so for the next few months, I would meet with him, show him some of the sketches, and see if he liked them or not, or what we could change on them. And we kind of did that. And he, after a while, after we were done, after a few months, he took the drawings and, it's now working to this day. I gotta hit him up now and see what's happening, but he should be in the process of like putting it into a book, because this was also his first time doing a children's books too, so he's also still doing the learning process. So
publishing and stuff.
Publishing and speaking with an editor and stuff like that. So,
I see. Also, you're shopping it. He wants to publish to a publishing house.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. What's the book about?
So the book is about this young African boy. I guess he will be about 12. That coming of age type of thing. So he lives on this island with his tribe, his people, and he's a caring and loving little prince, and he has a best friend that he hangs out. He has a friend that he hangs out with like every day, and so one night him and his friend go out to the lake and sees a mermaid, and the mermaid tells them about a disaster that's going to happen on their island. And so and the only way to like save the island was to like go to the kingdom and retrieve a treasure and stuff like that to end the disaster. And so it turned into an adventure of him seeking out the treasure, trying to get his parents to understand what he's doing, because his parents don't like, what are you doing? Why are you taking treasure from our castle? This is stealing. And so he has to convince his parents, like, hey, there's this disaster that's about to happen. Just believe me, believe your child. And so they end up believing him, and the disaster comes, and a whole village works together to like prevent the disaster, which they do, and they save their home. So it's pretty much that.
That's very cool.
I didn't want to get too much into it because it's still in like production. I don't know what will happen to me.
Right.
Say anything.
That sounds like a cool story. So how many drawings did it take?
It's about 10 illustrations.
Okay.
They're actually they're not very big, because the book is not very big. It's like half of a 8.5 by 11 sheet. So it's at the beginning of each chapter, so you get a glimpse of what's going on in the situation, and then you end up reading the rest of the chapter.
I see.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that.
Okay, it's a combination of a book with the illustrations.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, and you have a website. What's your website?
My website is kelsijackson.com, and I mean, it's a website about me. You'll get a little bio about myself, and then you can check out my illustrations, my black and white illustrations, my sketches, my color drawings, my color illustrations, as well as a little bit of animation that I've been working on and off on. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just like a lot of different things.
I just like stuff.
You like making stuff.
I love art.
That's cool.
Art is awesome.
Yes. And so your current project is?
My current project is, just a few months ago, I started working on a webcomic. The title is called Slice of Life. And it's pretty much me and my daily life, it's mm-hmm. a slice of my life. Mm-hmm. And I tell you about what's going on, what weird experience I've had, or what I have to deal with as like a black woman, and how I react to my surroundings as a black woman. So okay. You can check that out at tapastic.com/slice of life. Yeah. Okay, so what kind of advice would you give yourself?
Would you give your the self you were 10 years ago?
I would. Oh man, I would be rough to my 10-year-old self. I'd be like, you need to work on anatomy. You need to go outside and do some observational drawings, because that's what's going to make you a better artist. Observing, know how to do the basics, because once you know how to do the basics, you can do whatever you want. If you want to draw a man with like wings, you know how to draw a bird already. You already know the anatomy for a bird. You already know anatomy for a man. Go ahead and try to combine that. Mm-hmm. So because people be interested in like the fantasy and really weird stuff, that can relate to them as well as pique their interest. So yeah.
And it all comes down to the basics.
If you know your basics, then you can do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. And you wish you had put more time into that?
Yeah, because even when I was in high school, my anatomy was rough. It was real mm-hmm. rough. Mm-hmm. So I'd be like, Kelsi, buy all the anatomy books you can. Do that. Mm-hmm. And go outside more. Even though I was always outside. Take a camera with you. Also, what else? Go out to even more gallery shows. Get more inspired and stuff like that. And I guess that goes along the lines of go outside and observe more. But like along going out there, get more inspired, meet people, mm-hmm. That will give you more ideas on what you want to draw and stuff like that. So, because I think the biggest thing for artists is coming up with ideas and stuff like that. That can be hard after you've done like a series of something else. Where do you go on from there? What's the next big thing? Mm-hmm. And so you just going out there and just speaking to people can give you ideas, or seeing stuff and traveling. Yeah, also traveling. Travel, Kelsi. Go somewhere. Go to Japan like you mm-hmm. want to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to go to Japan. So that will also inspire you, to do much more, Get some more stuff out there. Make more money.
This has been the Artist King Podcast, and I am DTM of DeltaTangoMike.com, telling you to get out and learn so you can earn. Let go of the starving artist title and move into the thriving artist art life.